Friends, what I'm hearing is not pleasant for small businesses in Saskatchewan. A scrapping of the TFW program in its entirety. And knowing that our local leaders have aligned with the national headlines, many small business owners have called me and raised their concerns. The truth is, these small businesses want to hire Canadians first. In fact, most would prefer hiring locals because hiring TFWs, by the way, TFW stands for temporary foreign workers. This TFW is a complicated process. It requires adhering to labor laws, obviously, the regulations, compliance, a lot of paperwork, audits, and too many things to keep track of. But even with all of that, they still choose to go through this complex process. Why? Because it keeps their businesses open. They cannot rely on the local workforce alone, especially in smaller towns across Saskatchewan, where the population is small, aging, and workers are simply not available. And someone said that, TFWs are cheap labor and it's making rounds on the internet. But I'll tell you this, TFWs are not cheap labor. Their wages are set by the Government of Canada based on the median wage of each region. And employers are legally bound to pay no less than that. And on top of that, TFWs receive the same benefits and the protection as Canadians. And in many cases, employers must also provide safe housing, health insurance, and other supports to these TFWs. So hiring TFWs is an added cost to the businesses. And that certainly doesn't make them cheap. Employers hiring TFWs are under strict vigilance, stringent compliance rules, and are subject to audits, penalties, and even bans if they fail to meet the obligations. And this is why small business owners in Saskatchewan say that without TFWs, their doors would simply shut. Like for a cafe in a remote town, or for a small grocery store in farming community, or a restaurant that can't find cooks or servers, the TFW program isn't just an option, it's a lifeline. Removing it entirely doesn't solve the problem. It makes it worse. It's a blow to small businesses, rural communities, and local economy. And yes, I understand that, TFWs may be competing with us Canadians in some regions for the same jobs, and which is hurting us Canadians. And therefore, we should reform or refine this program to address these issues in those specific regions. And I'm sure, and you all will agree, that remote and rural towns in Saskatchewan are not one of those regions. So scrapping the TFW program entirely is not a solution. It is damaging to our economy. Toronto and Vancouver are not Saskatoon or Regina. And they are certainly not Francis, Gowan, or Kindersley. And what works in Ontario and BC may not necessarily work here in Saskatchewan. And our Saskatchewan leaders should take a note of this. I call on MPs from Saskatchewan, at the very least, to understand our demographics and act accordingly to protect small businesses in our province, because they are a significant part of the Canadian economy. Small businesses are the backbone of our economy. And one thing I don't understand that all of a sudden, where did this TFW topic, come from? Our sovereign nation, Canada, has larger issues at hand to deal with: tariffs, pipelines, building housing, creating more jobs, developing infrastructure, and more importantly, becoming less reliant on America. And these are our priorities, not TFWs. I'm sorry, but not at this moment. We don't just wake up one morning and make a decision. We are pragmatic. We are not Trump. We are Canada. And I'm truly Canadian living in Saskatchewan. And I take pride in saying I am Canadian. God bless Canada. Long live Canada. And friends, once again, if you don't speak up today, you have no right to complain tomorrow. And you know that. So be sure to put your thoughts in comments and reach out to me directly. And together, we can address these concerns. We have friends in the leadership, and I'm sure they will listen to us.